The U.S. school shooting debate continues with satirical contributions I've curated to add perspective, starting with a classic, how about we treat every young man who wants to buy a gun like a woman who wants to get an abortion? And the only thing easier to buy than a gun is a Republican senator, or in the case of Donald Trump, a Republican president. Meanwhile, Florida Republicans shot down a ban on assault rifles, but they did declare pornography as a health risk, meaning the biggest actual health risk is the Republican Party. For example, Marco Rubio prayed the day would never come, but one wonders if his prayers are being seen as enough. The Pope, somewhat of an expert on prayers, has this thought on stopping bullets. What has helped in the past was an assault weapons ban, or stricter state gun laws, making for fewer gun deaths. But meanwhile, we do have shipments of thoughts and prayers. And if thoughts and prayers are good enough for Florida students, they should be good enough for the president. The president who, during the memorial for the shooting victims, was playing golf just a few miles away. It's funny that our country didn't want a female president, yet we still ended up with a little bitch. So why do so many Republicans listen to the NRA anyway? Just 6.5% of gun owners belong to the NRA. Maybe it's gun retailers. We have more of them than we do supermarkets. Or it's gun manufacturers. The gun lobby is big business. At least some gun retailers have now stopped selling guns, making for this easy joke. So this guy writes, why don't we just all join the NRA and change the name to National Reading Association? Because the rallying cry, the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, sounds a lot like a guy trying to sell two guns. Meanwhile, this good guy with a gun stopped a mass shooting in a church and the cops showed up and shot him. But it's not just gun makers giving money to the NRA, it's also Russia. Putin is like, I'm trying to divide Americans, but it's not going so well. NRA is like, hold my beer. And ever since the Parkland survivors became successful activists, social media suggests they're paid crisis actors. They've been coached, say the free thinkers who are clearly being coached. And coached not just by right-wing media, but apparently by Russian Twitter bots. David Hogg, can't remember his lines, says this tweet listing its location as Moscow, Russia. It's essentially the same people that said 13-year-olds were mature enough to date Roy Moore are now saying 17-year-olds are too immature to have opinions on gun control. Thank goodness Trump held a listening session for victims of the school shootings. Did they feel heard? Yes, because of item number 5. And now Trump proposes guns in the classroom because he clearly cares about children. Of course, armed school teachers will make children safer, and if we're arming teachers with government budget, then this is what we'll have to give the librarians. Speaking of librarians, if teachers have to carry guns, presidents should have to read books. But do we really want to give guns to teachers? There are already teachers with guns in schools. If they're not shooting themselves, they're shooting other people, or just leaving their loaded guns in the bathroom for elementary school kids to find. Of course, the best joke is Trump saying, I really believe I'd run in there, even if I didn't have a weapon, as I have done on countless occasions. For full details, see my published works. But maybe all this talk about school shootings is beside the point. According to this church, it doesn't matter if your AR-15 kills a bunch of kids, because if Jesus had a gun, he'd still be alive today. So saith Zombie Jesus. Praise the Lord.